You will never have to heal from a breakup again after watching this video. Your moon sign is going to tell you how to bounce back from anything that disrupts you emotionally by focusing on what makes you feel secure. There is something about a breakup that hurts you the most, specifically to you based on your moon sign. And I'm going to talk about in this video how to nurture yourself, how to pour back into your cup so that the breakup doesn't feel as harmful. Also use this video for just generally how to fill up your cup and how to fulfill your emotional needs so you're not dependent on anyone for that, okay? And the reason why I'm making this video, honestly, this video is inspired by this Venus retrograde. It is a doozy. It is a doozy, okay? People are breaking up, people are making up. It's really, and Venus is not comfortable in Aries, so it just adds more to that. Look at where you have Aries in your chart. Look at where you have Pisces in your chart. You can find the timestamp in the description box below for your moon sign. But before I get into that, you guys, I really want to talk about why I've been MIA, because I finally finished what I've been working on. I created an astrological calendar for y'all. So like I said, it's Venus retrograde, but there's so many other transits that are happening later this year. Like the astrology of 2025 is just astrologers like we have been telling y'all about this year. But we have Uranus going into Gemini, Jupiter going into Cancer. We have this retrograde, the eclipse season. We're currently in eclipse season. So I know it can be overwhelming. I put it all in a Google Calendar, and you can just find the link in my description box. But I don't know if the glare is like bad here, but you can see here, very Virgo, okay? Every single important transit that you need to know for the rest of this year. I also put a survival guide for every single retrograde. That's like a whole other thing. This is every single transit has a description here that you can see for your rising sign. So it's tailored to your rising sign, so you know how it's going to impact you. And if you look at the Google Doc attached as well, it has a retrograde survival guide for every single retrograde this year and what you can do based on your rising sign. And it's like very organized based on the retrogrades and all of that. But yeah, I went all Virgo on this, but I think it's important because this is digital, so you're gonna get a notification too when all of that happens. So like I said, you can find that in the description and utilize this. I've been using this like crazy, and it's really helped me because like I said, Venus retrograde is happening right now, Mercury's in retrograde, so you know to plan ahead, okay? So without further ado, I'm just gonna keep going on with the signs before I'm gonna start yapping. But that's what we do here. We are here for the yap, okay? But I have missed you too, so I'm glad to be back. But let's get into it. Aries moon, okay? Aries moon, if you are a fiery, you know, you need to be stimulated. If you're going through a breakup, the worst thing you can do is sit down. You need to go back into the gym. You need to start. You guys feel so much rage. You feel so much intention. It's like you want to fight somebody. You want to hit somebody. It's like, who's next? So for you lean away from impulsivity or jumping on to the next person, finding the new, like, we need a way to direct that energy or like projecting that onto anyone else. I want you to start getting into things that make you feel alive again. The gym, starting a new skill that's related to moving your physical body, martial arts, or not yoga, something that's really gonna like bring on a lot of sweat and like you're moving a lot, that's competitive, right? It brings in that energy and you're able to channel it, right? Because you guys need movement. You need movement, you need physical body, you need that sense of competition. That's going to help you really get all of that energy out for my Aries moon. I think another part for my Aries moon is making sure that you have a new something that's like making you feel very passionate, something that you're starting. Honestly, if you're going through a breakup as an Aries moon, start a business. You know, start something, start a new hobby that's going to channel that energy where you feel like, okay, I'm beginning something, I'm starting something, because you guys really don't like to fail at things. You're a cardinal fire sign, you're a go-getter, you're not waiting for a green light. So it's about not holding back. Whatever you have been thinking about doing, go ahead and do it. Go full force, full throttle into it. Use the breakup as that fuel energy to, like I said, bring in more excitement into your life, bring in more passion. Anger and passion are really the same thing. So you guys are really prone to feeling anger. You're really prone to, like I said, you want to hit something, you want to hit somebody. Like I'm full of so much rage, but use that anger and feel it into that passionate energy, like I said. But I really think it's about redirecting that focus towards something that's going to move your body. I also think, since Aries is the head, right? So I would focus on, if we're going to take it more zen, head massages, okay? Focusing on music, things that you're listening to, going and getting like a, you know how they have the hair, I think it's like a scalp massage, the scalp massage therapy, anything related to your head, okay? Also, y'all, listen, watch the haircut, because you guys are prone to just chopping or changing the color. I mean, it's Venus retrograde right now, so you really don't want to do anything related to beauty, but maybe you want to get a new look with your hair as well. So my Aries moons, just like overall channel that energy into something that's going to move your body and make you feel alive again and passionate about something again. That's all I have for you. I hope it resonated. Let me know in the comments if it did, and I will see you guys next time. Okay, so who do we have next? I have to write down the times, otherwise, child. All right, okay. For my Taurus moon, okay, if your moon is in Taurus, you tend to get really comfortable in relationships. You're a fixed earth sign. Once you nuzzle yourself into a relationship, it's really hard for you to let go. You want to cling on to it, and you can hold on to it a lot, right? So the important thing for you to do here is make sure that you are constantly in movement, and it's going to be really hard for you because you're like I said, you're comfortable and you're nuzzled into that relationship. You like your comfort zone, but I want you to find a new comfort zone. I want you to bring in more comfort into your life as much as you can. I mean, you should already be doing that. That's already an emotional need for you, but like making sure that you are creating a consistent routine that is around a sense of comfort, a sense of indulgence. So you're not putting that energy into that relationship. You're finding that you can find that ease of the comfort and like being at home in my pillow, because you just want to be snuggled up with them. Even if you have to be snuggled up with your own pillow, even if you have to be snuggled up with your favorite show and having a fireplace on and a diffuser on. So the moon is exalted in Taurus, which is really nice for you guys. You guys typically with Taurus moon, you just have an aura of like beauty and an ability to really connect with your emotions in a very sensual way and expressing that in a sensual way. So I want you, for my Taurus moons also, it's like getting into gardening, okay? Getting into things that connect you back to the earthly realm, okay? So it's like for you guys, like I said, you're finding a new sense of stability, and a part of that is grounding. So if you have to literally plant your feet on the ground, okay? But I also think, since Taurus here is the throat, I know it's gonna sound really weird, okay? But literally, throat massages, moving your neck, okay? Moving your neck, because you make sure you're not having any stiffness. And I know, how does this relate to you moving on from a breakup? Because with your moon energy being linked here to your neck, this is where you're going to hold a lot of emotions. This is where you're going to hold a lot of pain, right? So you're going to want to do a lot of neck massages. You're going to want to do a lot of work around just moving that part, but also in speaking as well. Working on maybe removing any blocks around, like, oh, okay, well, I mean, this is in relationships. It's like there's things left unsaid, even if it's you have to write a letter or something. But generally, I want you to get more grounded, okay? I want you to, like I said, plant, even if you have to plant your feet in the grass, even if you have to like consistently create a new routine for yourself where things feel stable, because you love stability, you love predictability, and this person was once, you know, it's kind of like a tree getting uprooted, and now it's about, you may feel like, okay, I'm going to go back to that tree. I'm going to go back to that because that was my sense of stability. But it's about finding a new place where you can anchor that, and it's really yourself. So get into a new routine immediately after the breakup. I want you to have plans. I want you to have something that you're going to do, or like I said, creating a new routine around comfort and indulgence, so that you're not going back to that more sentimental or that sense of comfort with that individual. Let me see what else I put in my notes. Yeah, but overall, I think it's like anything related to self-care, but it's like your physical body. So massages, the aromatherapy, taking better care of yourself. It's like treating yourself to like a spa day, spa treatment, really pampering yourself so that you can understand that that sense of comfort and indulgence is something that you can provide, something that you can give yourself. And I think, honestly, getting used to it as a Taurus moon, you're not gonna want to leave. It's gonna start to get a little hard to let somebody in, because you definitely can get like in that energy of, oh my gosh, I'm pampering myself, I'm taking care of myself, I'm indulging in the life that I've created. Like, oh my gosh, why did I even want that person? Why I didn't even need them. So I think overall it's just focusing on a sense of finding a new sense of stability for yourself. So I hope that resonated. I kind of went on a tangent with that one, but Taurus moon, beautiful. I love that. I will see you guys next time. Let me know if it resonated, and take care, because it's your moon sign. We have Venus retrograde, so you definitely can feel this as well. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to my Gemini babes. Okay, so if you have your moon in Gemini, you are going to need to talk. You need to talk to a therapist. You need to talk to your friends. You need to yap about it. You need to get it out. Even if it's writing, journaling is going to be your best friend. I think everyone should journal. But for my moons and Geminis, you have your emotions are connected to your mind, okay? You have a very active mind, okay? And it's the emotions are going to come here, and they're going to go straight up there to your minds, to your thoughts. So it's about organizing your thoughts, getting clear on how you feel. That's why you need to talk about it, because you're going to have a lack of clarity around what about this breakup is really hurting you. So for my moon in Gemini, I also, like I said, journaling, therapy, talking to friends. It's about also bringing yourself, making sure you are as social as you need to be, making sure that your social calendar is full. You're not isolating yourself. You're not taking away from any social events, because you need that sense of stimulation. So a lot of times in the relationship, what you need in a relationship is that stimulation. That person will be that for you, but you need to make sure that you have a source of stimulation outside of that. So whether it's you're in a book club, whether it's but it has to be social, like I said, whether it's like you're taking like weekly yoga classes, or you're doing something that's related to other people, you're like in a debate club, make sure that you're sticking to your socials, make sure that you're sticking to anything that stimulates you, right? Making sure I would get into learning a new philosophy. I would get into reading a new book, or probably not watching a new show, but unless it's like something that is like really engaging and stimulating for you. But honestly, I want you to be like more social generally. I want you to be more where you're able to connect and exchange with others, have an exchange of things, so that person, like I said, you don't lose your only sense of that. I'm trying to think of what else I wrote. Over analyzing. I mean, for sure, because the emotions will come here and then they'll go straight up, you'll tend to over analyze. Things are very simple. You broke up, it's over, okay? Or you are an emotional being, you have emotional needs, that's it. There's no need to like over rationalize or over analyze, because like I said, there's so much activity here. And the thing is, I don't want you, whenever it comes to you analyzing the situation, it should be in regards to your feelings. It should be in regards to understanding the emotional nature of the situation, rather than you logically or analytically looking at how things are and trying to puzzle piece, okay? So for my Gemini moons, the only way I think for you, it's about either you're organizing your thoughts on paper or you're communicating it. So even if it's like calling up a friend and talking about it, calling up a therapist, talking about it, like I said before. But I think overall it's just making sure that you're trying something new and you're staying educated, or you're learning, okay? You have a sense of learning in your life, that you are constantly engaging somehow in something that's going to make you feel emotionally secure and make you feel like, okay, you know, it's not as bad as I thought it was, because I have other connections out here. But I also think moon in Gemini tends to have like multiple people, or just like wanting to have like multiple different types of connections. So it's not ignoring that part of you, and like I said, really indulging in that, and making sure that you actually keep up with that and not ignore that aspect of yourself. So I hope that resonated. That's all I have. I'm gonna move on now. Let me know in the comments if it resonated for you. Let's see now for my Cancer moons. Okay, so if your moon is in Cancer, you're going to need to find a support system. You guys tend to already have that. Get connected with your friends and your family. Whatever feels like home to you, reconnect with that. And I don't mean your ex, okay? So for my Cancer moons, it's about like, even if you feel like you need to stay home, okay? Whatever your sense of safe haven is, your sense of home and your sense of like security is, connect with that, find that, and lean onto that and anchor into it. Make sure that you feel like you can be nurtured in expressing yourself emotionally by the people around you, because like I said, I feel like you guys tend to be very nostalgic. I want you to remember, don't remember the feelings and the gushy gush and how good it was and like how you felt around this person and like it was all love. You also have to make sure that you are not having selective memory where you're only remembering the good parts. You have to allow yourself to also remember the bad parts and the reason why the relationship ended in the first place. Or if this isn't about a breakup, it's just understanding that there's a positive and a negative to everything. There's not just, I'm not just like holding on and having this sentimental feeling towards things. You also have to understand, is this actually something that is good for me? So that can go for attachments, that can go for your habits, you know, addictions or whatever. So it's like not just relationship wise if you're not watching this for like a breakup, but more so understanding here your attachments to things and whether or not those are good for you, not whether or not, because it's like you guys tend to have that, you want that, you're like the crab, right? The inside is mush, but you're hoarding a lot. You hoard. But it's like, is this actually doing something good for me, or is it just taking up space because I don't like empty space? You know what I'm saying? So it's about really understanding the place that things have in your life and the place and the attachment that you have and the reasoning, the purpose behind that. So I also think for my Cancer moons here, Cancer's a water, so anything related to the beach, I would do a lot of moon rituals. I would do like moon is Mondays, I will do any sort of like ritual work on Mondays, or I would just focus on the moon cycles, like setting intentions on new moons, full moon. I mean, everyone should be doing that generally, but like I think since you guys, you're ruled by the moon, it's about making sure that you're living a life aligned with the moon, with the ebb and flows. I know that kind of doesn't have to deal with like a breakup necessarily, but it can help you find a sense of like stability. It can help you find a sense of like reconnecting to something esoteric, because the moon is also like a little mysterious, a little esoteric. Okay, so I think for my Cancer moons as well, this is the feminine, so it's honestly reconnecting with your emotions and being honest with yourself about how you feel, and not suppressing that, because you guys are y'all little crybabies, and that's okay. It's about letting yourself feel, let yourself express. But I also think it's about creation. I feel like Cancer is the ultimate feminine. It's a very feminine sign, so it's about feeling your emotions, getting in tune with that, acknowledging that, really nurturing that, expressing that, talking to people about how you feel about the situation specifically, but understanding how things intuitively make you feel. Because I feel like you guys, I mean, it's not even I feel, you guys are intuitive as hell, right? Cancer moon is a very intuitive placement, so you really need to get connected with your spirituality. That will also help you, a sense of connection to something something that like you can't really touch, taste, feel, etc. You know, it's more emotional, it's more intuitive, it's more kind of esoteric, right? So it's about getting reconnected to that part of you as well. I'm trying to think if I missed anything else. Yeah, overall I think it's like, since you guys tend to feel things very deeply and you're very sensitive, I would definitely do anything related to cleansing. I would do a releasing ritual, like you just write down on paper everything how you feel and you burn it up. You can do that on a full moon, but that will help you to get rid of any lingering attachments, get rid of everything they've given you, get rid of anything that will represent the attachments to the negative things that you don't want. Okay, no hoarding. We have to let it go, even if it's like emotional too, because you tend to suppress that a lot. But I think that's all I have for my Cancer moons. You're just so sensitive and loving. You will find love again. Like you are love, so it's like it's inevitable. Okay, so I hope that resonated, and I will see you guys in the next one. Okay, so let's see here. So for my Leo moons, okay, for moon is in Leo, get back into creativity, get back into a hobby, get back into a passion, something related to drama, theater, or something that you're creating yourself, something that is going to give you some attention or you can be recognized for. If you're going through a heartbreak, you likely will really struggle with the like not being seen, not being recognized, like not feeling validated. I want you to make sure that you're surrounded around the people that you do feel validated and supported by, okay? So that's a big one. Number one is making sure that you are like, you have those friends that are hyping you up, you know, or you're listening to really hype up empowered music, like, or I want you to literally look at yourself in the mirror and say those affirmations to yourself. Like that works on my Leo moons. It doesn't, those types of affirmations doesn't really work on everybody, but Leo moons, that is for you. So I want you to start to self-celebrate, okay? Self-celebrate. Bring all of that source back to you. Anything and anyone that seems to celebrate you, allow more of that into, because that person, right, can represent like, oh, that was my biggest cheerleader, or like I really wanted that sense of validation and being seen from them. And with you, my Leo moons, you're really being called to understand the power of self-validation. And that's so powerful because you are in control of it, okay? So you guys are fixed moon signs, so you tend to really, you're very passionate about how you feel towards people, and it can feel kind of hard to let go and move on because you can be a little possessive with that. But it's about understanding that you are in possession of your own confidence. You are in possession of your own power. You are in possession of your own authority. That's the only thing that you own, so you better own it well, okay? So my Leo moons, I want you to, like I said, start treating yourself like a king or queen, celebrating yourself, making sure that like you're getting back into not only hobbies and passions, but you're allowing yourself to be seen, posting yourself on social media, okay? Posting yourself, like reminding yourself like, wait, I look good and the world knows I look good, okay? But it's also about your work, getting crafty, getting creative, but also showcasing that and showing that part of you. So I'm trying to think of what else with Leo moon. I think it's also about like finding joy again and realizing that you are radiant and you are bright and you are love. Like you're like a kind of has that star energy with Leo placements. So with Leo moon here, you really have an emotional need to be recognized and seen for that. But in order to be recognized and seen for that, you have to show it. You have to own it, okay? So even if it's like dressing out real bold and real cute and real nice and like, you know, being the center of attention. But like I said, it's also about validating that for yourself, that the attention is only a reflection of how you're feeling about yourself, right? And that the crowd doesn't need to be there for you to celebrate yourself. So I also think here it's like pouring energy into, maybe it's like a makeover that you're doing, like I said, like a rebrand that you're doing, anything around you, yourself, and like how you exude your confidence and your persona to the world, making a makeover around that, and making sure that it's like I said, kind of self-centered, and not in the way that most, you know, like self-centered in a negative way, but self-centered in a way where you are the center of your reality. Like, let's be for real, we're all the center of our own world, and it's about owning that position. So if this was a theater, if this was a play, and you're the star of the show, how are you gonna act? Okay, what is your character? All of that. So I hope that resonated, my Leo moons. Don't chase nobody for validation, okay? You can validate. So I hope that resonated. Let me know in the comments if it did, and I will get back to you guys. So now for my Virgo moons, let's see here. So if your moon is in Virgo, how you're going to bounce back from a breakup or just fill up your emotional cup is really focusing on self-improvement. And not that something is wrong, but in that you are taking care of yourself and you're making it a habit to take care of yourself. You're making a habit to sort of like declutter and depurge your mental, but also your emotional, spiritual, all of that. So number one is recognizing that there's not inherently something wrong with you or something that you need to fix. It's about reframing your perspective around what needs to be improved, and what really needs to improve is just the perception of yourself. So with my moon in Virgo, I want you to, you know, focus on things that can help you reframe how you're seeing yourself. Making sure that you have a clean space, a clean environment. You're decluttering everything, cleaning out your house, cleaning out your car, cleaning out everything, making sure that it's decluttered, because you can get really prone to anxiety if your environment is feeling like, you know, like there's no sense of order and stability to it. So it's about, even if it's like chaotic, you have to at least know how that chaos is, you know. That's kind of that Virgo energy. So I also think it's like I said, get back into the gym, get back into your health and wellness. So making sure that you're maybe pouring more into fixing your diet, or getting more to like a more cleaner lifestyle makes you feel more in control of yourself and in your health. Okay, so with my moon in Virgo, you're very prone to anxiety, you're very prone to worrying, you're very prone to overthinking. I want you to focus on the present. So whenever you're going through a breakup, it's very hard for you to overthink, overanalyze, and kind of anxiously like really look into the situation too much. Be present on your body, on what you're feeling, on what's going on now, on what you can change, not what you could have, should have, blase blase, and not worrying about the future. Oh my God, I'm never gonna find anyone, but this is there. It's about being present. And what helps you to be present is focusing on those like mundane day-to-day things. So making sure that you're getting organized in your life, you have a sense of control over that. You have a sense, like I said, a sense of control over your environment. But I also think Virgo is like, I think it's like literally I want you guys to do a cleansing as well, but it's more so like a cleansing of your whole life, a purging, because Virgo is like a sense of purity, right? So I think here it's about getting rid of that like negativity, even if it's like doing a smoke cleanse, if it's like, if, you know, physically cleaning your house too, like I said. But you know, when you think about when spring comes and like we open our doors and it's like we're cleaning inside and out, that's what you kind of need to do with a breakup. Okay, so that's kind of what I have. I'm trying to think if I miss anything. Yeah, but I think overall it's just like clearing out clutter, mental, but physical in your environment too, making sure you have a grasp on your life in the mundane. So that's what I have for you, my Virgo moons. Do not be too hard on yourself. Like, you're very prone to that. But I think here it's like your relationships can also, I know I was done, but I have more to say. Your relationships can feel like, once you are settled in, it's like, okay, this is part of my routine, this is part of my mundane, but it's like creating a new one for yourself where it's more on your health, your wellness. Okay, so okay, now I'm done. All right, so now we're gonna move on to my Libra moons. If your moon is in Libra, girl, listen, get your makeup, okay? Get in a cute, a nice outfit, something that makes you feel really cute, real like feminine, okay? Moon in Libra, when you're going through a breakup, it's like you need to remind yourself of the beauty and the harmony that's already present in your life, okay? It's about focusing on beauty and your personal beauty and your personal aesthetics, maybe changing your aesthetic, or if it's literally just getting dressed. Like, my moon is in the 7th house. I will feel 10 times better if I'm in a dress and some makeup, in a dress and some heels. Suddenly I'm not even sad anymore. You know, it's just like that feeling of feeling refined, okay? Even if it's treating yourself to like a nice fine dining where you're socializing with people or going to events where there's other people around and like you have to dress up for it, it just makes you feel, it makes you feel better, okay? So for my moon in Libra here, I also think it's like about focusing on what you desire, on what you want, because you can be very prone to, again, my moon is in 7th house, so you can be very prone to understanding what other people want and other people's needs and really compromising for the peace, but like you're not in peace. So especially if you feel like that in your relationship where you kind of kept your mouth quiet, or you didn't really you kind of like did things to hold the peace and hold the harmony, or for the sake of a relationship or for the sake of being in a relationship, I want you to focus on what you want, on your personal identity, on what you've always wanted to do, and making sure that you're getting back into those things and now living a life that is full of that, full of your wants, your needs, and your desires. So I think it's like outside of a relationship, what's that identity? Outside of a relationship, who are you? What do you want outside of what your person, your partner, your ex-partner wanted? But also like in general, if it's not relationship wise, like outside of what the people around you want, what your friends want, because also we have to be so in tune with our desires, because we know that you can anticipate and assume what someone else wants and what someone else needs, but that might not always be accurate. And now you're self-sacrificing your wants and needs for something that might not even be true in terms of what someone else might want. So it's always important to be really clear and understanding of what you want. But overall, immersing in beauty, art, going to an art gallery, like I said, going to different events around the city or around where you're at that have to do with there's other people around, socializing, where you can activate that charm, where you can activate that like that grace that you have. And like I said, just getting dressed up and nice, do your makeup, like literally moon and Libra, dress up, dress to impress. But it's not even like, it's just it will just make you feel better. Like I said before, that's gonna help you to uplift yourself, making you, when you, I mean, generally, if you look good, you feel good, okay? That, but especially for my Libra moons, if you look good, you feel good, you feel great, okay? So another thing I'm gonna tell you guys, avoid jumping into another relationship. Avoid just relationship hopping because you want that sense of partnership, you want that sense of balance. Find partnership outside of romance. You can find partnership going out with your friends. You can find partnership, you know, like connecting with other people or doing events where you have to be partnered up in some way, but it doesn't always have to be romantic. And that's why, because it's like you will find your sense of identity, and I want you to exercise having your identity in partnership. If you are going to jump into another relationship, make sure that you are exercising your personal autonomy and identity. So for you guys, it's really about like anything related to your, like I said, your personal aesthetic, your sense of beauty, your sense of charm, your you, okay? Not someone else, okay? So I think that you guys tend to like kind of want to feel in partnership and harmonious, to kind of feel off if you're not like in a relationship. But for my moon in Libra, it's going to be even more powerful for you to see the power of like what's actually beneficial for your relationship is you having that identity for yourself, that desire, because it actually makes the relationship more harmonious and balanced. So if your life feels imbalanced in any way, focus on clearing that imbalance out, and addressing that so that you're not trying to find it in a relationship. So next, for my moon in Scorpio, let's see here. Hold on, I gotta open the door. My Scorpio moons, she's laughing. My Scorpio moons, let's see what we have for you guys. Nope, I'm closing the door. Okay, so let's see here. 31. Notice how all that mess. Okay, let's see. All right, so if your moon is in Scorpio, my favorite placement, I have a Scorpio moon in Vedic astrology, so trust me when I tell you, if you're going through a breakup, I know the pain. It feels like you just lost all your limbs. It feels like it's the end of the world. You have emotions. It feels so intense. Breathe, okay? Your emotional cup is filled by transmutation, okay? You guys feel emotions so deeply and so powerfully, and you do not want to get lost in it. You are a fixed water sign, meaning your emotions are still, okay? This is Scorpio's a reproductive system, right? So what I'm going to tell you to do is do like yoni yoga, but around the hips, around the yoni, because all the energy is going to be stored there. All that negativity is stored there. Yoga, like I said, around the hips, dancing around the hips so that you're intentionally releasing that energy. Because what's going to happen is you're going to store that energy there, and you're also going to want to dive into lust in order to exercise and clear out that energy that's there. But when you're doing that lust and, you know, those intimacy through, but it's like more lust based with somebody, you're going to take on that negative energy too. So it's about releasing that through dancing, through hips, getting back into your sensuality, you know, your primal nature, but it's through yoga, through your hips, through dancing, where you're not using someone as a means to get rid of that. Another thing that I'm going to tell you guys is I want you to start something new. I want you to use that to create something, okay? Like when I was going through the worst heartbreak of my life, you guys, that's when I started really pouring into my spirituality. That's when I just created so many things. Like I had created an oracle deck. That's when I created like the glamour glosses. Like I just created so much because I was using that pain to make something. As a Scorpio moon, I'm telling y'all, do not sit in that feeling. Do not, like, you tend to oh my gosh, what's the word? I don't know the word, but like you just tend to sit in that feeling. It's like the 5 of Cups, right? You have to understand that this is not the end all be all, because you feel things at an extreme. So what we're trying to do here is move you more towards the other extreme so that we can at least get you to the middle, if that makes sense. So another thing with my Scorpio moon is you may feel you want vengeance. You may feel that you want like retribution. And that's why I'm saying that to pour that retribution into something that you can create, okay? Because in this sense, you may feel, you're very prone to feeling like this is unjust. This is like, I need to balance the scales. Like, you just don't like, you know, it's the Scorpion and it wants like sting, but use that, like I said, to create, to transmute. You have so much energy and so much power, and it can be transmuted to something. I want you to do energy work, okay? If you are feeling that like intense, you know, primal desire, direct that energy toward your goals, okay? And that can be a whole other video, the O method, but it's like you're directing that, and because that is the energy of creation, that is the energy of life, that's how life is created. And so that same energy can be used to create the life you want, in a way, to curate and fuel your desires and the person you want to be, right? And also maybe the next person that you want to attract. So it's also for you guys, it's energy work. I would get into the rituals, get into the energy cleansings, get into the brujeria, but it's more so for your self-development. We're not doing no obsession spells, none of that, okay? So you need to cut energetic ties, okay? You need to cut, because you also are prone to like attachment and addiction and like really going far in the deep end. But it's about cutting that energetic cord, because relationships are very intense. So you cut that cord energetically so that you're no longer kind of like having your energy siphoned or feeling pulled in that way or pulled in that direction. I also think here it's about like, because you want a sense of control. It's about reclaiming control of what you can control, which is your emotions and where you're directing your energy. So like I said, it's about, you can direct that energy towards something positive. All the negative emotions and the things that you're feeling, there's a polar opposite to that emotion, okay? There's a polar opposite. I want you to channel that emotion towards the polar opposite of how that would manifest in your life, right? So for example, if you're really feeling sadness, right, what does happiness look like in your life for you? And channel that sadness as fuel to get that happiness, if that looks like, and I'm not talking about the happiness that comes from vengeance, okay? So it's really, that's how you control the dynamic, where you're in control of your emotions. They're intense, they're deep, you're feeling them, but you're also using them to your benefit, okay? And I have had to be skilled in this, okay? Because I definitely feel it, like, as someone with Pluto conjunct my moon. Trust me, I feel you guys' pain. You guys can feel soul level emotions, we can feel soul level emotions, soul level attachments, but it's about getting really grounded in yourself, learning from our sister sign Taurus, really grounded in yourself so that you can take control, okay? I feel like Scorpio moon should be its whole video. It should be a whole video, because there's so much power in this placement once you learn how to control what you can control, okay? So let's see what else we have now. Let me know if it resonated, you guys. I hope it did. Comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, so for my Sag babes, okay. So if your moon is in Sagittarius, I know you're going to want to feel inclined to go on a trip, but hold on. We can find a sense of adventure where we're at, okay? So if your moon is in Sagittarius, you tend to detach easily, or it's like it's hard for you to commit in the first place. But for you guys, if you're dealing through heartbreak, or you just want to fulfill your emotional needs, create a sense of adventure in your life, where it's going on a road trip, or it's discovering something new in your city, in your town, whether it is, depending on how you've been using your quest for travel, going on a trip. But again, I think it's like it's borderline escapism here. So you want to make sure that you're not escaping the emotions and the feelings, more so you're channeling them through a sense of adventure where you're at. But I also think here it's about finding a meaning. You guys, you need to find a meaning in everything. So look at the relationship from like a philosophical lens. Look at the lesson that you learned around it, treating it like a lesson, treating it like, okay, how did this expand my knowledge in some way? That's how you really should frame it and look at it for my Sagittarius, because you guys are more spiritual, philosophical, like emotionally, you just have a quest for knowledge and a quest for like finding meaning in things. So you're like I said, it's the sage, right? That's who you are at the emotional core. So I think here it's reigniting that within you. But I also feel like you want to avoid suppressing your emotions. You want to avoid escapism. You want to avoid on to the next, whatever. I don't really care about it. I just moved on. But there's still kind of that thing there, and you're kind of using the travel, you're using like the distractions to let go. Another thing here is allowing yourself to be sad. You guys are very optimistic, jovial, right? You have like you can almost see the overly positive side of it. I want you to be realistic about what's happening, where you're not overly positive and like not really seeing the reality of the situation here. So I think it's also about finding what makes you, what inspires you, and creating a sense of inspiration. And maybe even it's inspiring others by using what you've learned. So really focusing on what you've learned, how this has made you grow. I think for you guys, it's about getting back into your spirituality, getting back into your religion, feeling like you're a part of something where you're learning and engaging in philosophical debates and like discussions, or even just reconnecting with a higher power, a higher sense of meaning, not to detach from who we are, but to reconnect, right? To connect with who we are. I also think here is with my Sag moon, it's like, finding optimism, but like I said, not using like toxic positivity, but leaning in. You're naturally tend to be optimistic, and like you guys know that you're gonna find whatever is meant to be is gonna meant to be, you know what I'm saying? So I also think it's like just refreshing your outlook and refreshing how you're viewing the situation. But it's even like you guys don't like to feel confined too, so making sure that it's like engaging in new experiences that make you feel like you have a refreshed outlook on life. But even if it's like you need to go on a spiritual retreat, or you need to go to church, or you need to talk to somebody like in regards to like spirituality, you're going to a tarot reader or something like that. But I think it's more so about like reconnecting with your spirituality, like I said. So that's kind of what I have for my Sag moons. I feel like you guys tend to, with breakups and stuff, it's like you want to find a meaning to it and a purpose, but make sure that you're not, you know, avoidance. But that's what I have. I hope it resonated, and I'll see you guys next time. Okay. For my, now let's see, hold on. For my moon in Capricorn, okay, let's see here. If your moon is in Capricorn, the way that you deal with heartache or just fulfilling your emotional needs, and listen, you guys, is with moderation, because I know you're already going to go into far deep end with this, is creating a sense of stability for yourself. And for a lot of you guys, it will almost always manifest as financial. So it is, I think for you guys, less focus on the financial and the material, but more so on reconnecting with your long-term goals and finding new long-term goals for yourself. You guys, especially in relationships, you tend to invest a lot in things. You tend to invest, and so whenever you feel like you lost an investment, it really like clings on. It hurts, because it's like, I feel like I wasted, you know. I feel like, oh my gosh, I had this long-term goal, and it's like you're very prone to feeling like you're a failure or that you didn't achieve something. So I think it's about reframing it and not stifling your emotions, allowing yourself to truly feel the emotional nature of the relationship, but also understanding your emotional needs. Okay, so I made a video about that on like relationship wise. I will put that in the description. But for my moon in Capricorn, it's about refining your goals and creating new goals. Just because one goal didn't realize, or whatever, the relationship didn't lead to like marriage, or it didn't lead to, you know, it just ended up short, whatever. It's more so about seeing that that's also always a work in progress, and that's not necessarily something that can always be measured, because it's emotional. Relationships are emotional. It's not like a job. It's not like some goal that this is a step, we go, and then you achieve it. It's very different. There can be twists and turns because there's emotions involved, and we can't control that. So it's about releasing the sense of control and authority that you have around your own emotions and working in partnership with them, rather than seeing your emotions as something that makes you weak, or rather than seeing you know, the hurt that you're feeling as something that makes you weak. It's telling you something about yourself. It's telling you about what you need. It's telling you about what you like. It's telling you about what you don't like. So use your emotions as an assistant rather than seeing your emotions as like a boss, an angry boss that's like telling you what to do and trying to suppress it and like shut it out. Okay, so I also think here with my Capricorn, where I got my notes here, I think here it's like really prioritizing a sense of self-respect and like gaining that sense of like authority. And like I said, that's going to help you because you're like committed to long-term goals, and like finding new goals that you know that are achievable for you is going to make you feel like kind of taking away from the unfulfilled part of the relationship. But I think it's having those boundaries with yourself where you're checking in and realizing when you are starting to have an unhealthy relationship with your own emotions. So like I said, it's about making sure that you're finding new things that you're committed to, and making sure that you at least you always have something to look forward to. You always have something that you feel like you're achieving and that you're going towards, whether it be school, work, you know, etc. But like I said, for a lot of you guys, it can be like financial for my Capricorns, which ain't nothing wrong with that necessarily. So I also think here for my Capricorn moons, it's like what can really help you breakup wise is like having a business meeting with yourself and be like, okay, this is our standards. Maybe this is what went wrong. This is what went right. But we also, in that business meeting, we call in our emotions and we allow our emotions to also kind of give a review. Okay, so it's really treating it like, because you guys like to process things very structured, you like to have control over it. So I think it's like allowing yourself also to kind of have that emotional outburst, but also having that business meeting with yourself where you feel like in control. It's a more organized way to understand like what happened here. But in terms of just fulfilling your emotional needs, like I said, just having something that you are committed to, having something that you are working towards. But I also think it's about making sure that you're letting people in and that you have a sense of like support system, or like you're not seeing your emotions as a weakness. And like I said, you're allowing other people to sort of experience that, because you tend to be very independent. Okay, you tend to be very self-reliant, and I think it can be easy for you post breakup or in general to go back into, I'm the only one that can take care of myself, I'm the only one that, you know, blah, blah, I can't rely on anyone else. I think it's about addressing where that's actually coming from, and how maybe in your childhood or just consistently you have felt that people have let you down. Is about where can we have better boundaries with people, but also understanding that not everyone is going to let you down, and that sometimes you haven't really given the people an opportunity to show up for you. So it's just a couple things to just keep in mind for my Capricorn moons. But overall, kind of lets people in, like that you have you know, Capricorn is like the father energy here. So not being too strict on yourself, but allowing yourself to also be nurtured, and finding the ways in which, through practical means, you feel nurtured too. Like whether it's fixing something in your house, or that like actually, or buying a new gadget that makes your life so much easier, or even getting a new material item, or like treating yourself for the hard work that because you guys are really hard workers, that you put in. But I'm already going on a tangent here, so I'm gonna let y'all go. That's all I have here for my moon in Capricorn. I hope it resonated, and let me know in the comments how it resonated for you. So let's see now. Okay, so for my moon in Aquarius, I think it's really coming down to reconnecting with your individuality, reconnecting with your uniqueness, whether it be like aligning your personal style with that, or even like getting connected with different groups that are maybe like nonconformist or some way, or I think here with moon in Aquarius, it's also about getting connected to some sort of like community, or you know, charity organization, that really, you have an emotional need for that. So post breakup, it can make you feel like you're a part of a community that's actually making a difference, that's actually creating a change, actually like creating a sense of innovation. So that's more like externally focused. But I think for you, you tend to process your emotions in a very different way, in a very unique way, and maybe you tend to rationalize it too much. So it's about honoring that your emotions almost have like their own creative process to it, where it's like you'll be sitting somewhere and like you were having a happy day and then the emotion just hits you. It's about honoring that you don't have like a traditional relationship to your own emotions, right? It's like it kind of comes in waves, it kind of comes unexpectedly, and it's about managing that so that you're not having like emotional outbursts, but you're understanding that, like I said, your emotions have their own creative flow, and it's about being more intuitive and understanding like what triggers what, and but also respecting the fact that like you might not feel sad about the heartbreak now and you're like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me. It's like you have a different way of showing it. Like I said, it's about being intuitive with enough about yourself to see the ways in which sadness, anger, happiness, the ways in which those come out, because you tend to be more aloof. So you don't really have a close connection to your emotions where it's very obvious. So it's about reconnecting with yourself. Like I said, try not to do it so rationally, but being present with yourself enough to realize when certain emotions are actually happening. They're just manifesting in a different way. So I also think here for my moon in Aquarius, it's like making sure that you, like I said, you have a sense of community, or around like-minded individuals. But like-minded means that are understanding of your own kind of like unique process and your own unique way of like managing your own emotions. I also think here it's about like seeing how like applying what you're going through to something more big picture, because you tend to be more big picture, more future focused. Like, okay, how is this helping me in the future? How is this helping me in the long run? Like, what have I, like, how does this also, okay, random, but I also think here it's shifting your, while I know I'm gonna feel contradictory and say that like you need to reconnect with yourself, but it's also about having that like higher vision and higher purpose of maybe there's some ways in which you can like teach what you've learned to other people. Or that's why I said it's about getting connected with like-minded groups where you kind of have that feeling of support, you have that feeling of understanding. So I also think here, but it's like you have a sense of loss that you've experienced, but stepping into a sense of purpose, stepping into a sense of something outside of yourself. Like I said, that can be or charity, organization, where you feel like you're doing something in a part of the collective in some way, ideally something around medicine, technology, health, things like that. But overall, it's about rediscovering your individuality, rediscovering the unique ways in which you do things, and not feeling like you have to conform in like I said, processing your emotions or just being, you know, traditional in any means, by any way. But I also think here it's like you guys generally can be good with embracing the unknown, but it's about adding more like spontaneity, because that Uranus energy, right, Aquarius is Uranus, adding more spontaneity in your life, doing things that make you feel more electrified, maybe adding a little bit more like some rebellion, right, where you're doing a little daredevil-y types of things, where you're kind of taking a little bit of some risk here. So I think that just kind of ties into like the non-conformist things. But like overall, connecting yourself to something that feels higher than you, but also connecting yourself to yourself, if that makes sense. So that's what I have for my moon in Aquarius. Last but not least, my moon in Pisces. Okay, so if your moon is in Pisces and you're going through a heartbreak or a heartache, I'm gonna tell you that you definitely need to lean back into your spirituality, okay? You need to lean into your spirituality. You need to lean into your intuitive nature. So sound baths, meditation, yoga, anything that makes you feel like reconnected to, because you know Neptune is like outer worldly. So for you guys, hey, but it's borderline escapism. We don't want to get it too deep into it that we're so disconnected from what's currently happening. We're a little too delulu. With your moon in Pisces, it's about making sure that you're because you guys are very sensitive and you feel things very, very deeply. Okay, you hurt deeply, you love deeply, everything feels is very sensitive. So you need to make sure here that you are sensitively and kindly having compassion for yourself, taking care of yourself, and doing things that, like I said, related to yoga, hypnotherapy, even if it's like tarot, anything related to your spirituality and getting reconnected with that. Maybe it's even like buying different crystals, you know, wearing your waist beads, getting reconnected to the siren, the like spiritual, the mystic, you know. I also think here, again, spending time near water as well. That's like that Neptune energy, using water rituals. Like I think I have it on my page, but it's like the 2-cup method, where you pour your negative emotions in 1 cup and then you transfer it. No. You pour all your negative emotions in 1 cup and then you transfer it to another cup, and then you start to feel the positive emotions and the happiness, like that kind of like energy work where you're focusing on, like, it's water based, right? So or doing moon water rituals, moon magic rituals, anything related to water, like I said, or just any sort of rituals too. I also think like meditation is big for my moon in Pisces. Meditation, guided hypnosis, affirmations while you're sleeping, anything related to the subconscious, anything related to rewiring the subconscious. So it's like utilizing your spirituality in a way where you're utilizing it to connect with yourself, not disconnect from the current reality, like I've kind of said for other signs. I think here it's like music, journaling, art, anything creative, going on a spiritual retreat, going like any sort of like counseling, but like if you're going to do therapy, make sure it's group therapy, okay? Make sure with the because Pisces is the 12th house, so I think it's also about connecting to, like, if you believe in like spirit guides and things like that, praying to spirit guides, praying to God, so you feel like an outside of you connection, and you're utilizing that, getting connected to spirit and the energy around you. Like I said, that's really where that meditation is going to come in. But having these practices in your life are going to make you feel grounded, because for you guys, you tend to really latch on to relationships to find a sense of grounding, to find a sense of connection to self. And it can really be hard for you to learn that like separation, where you guys can get really caught up in the collective unconscious and all that. That's what I'm saying. Do the spiritual practices, but don't understand that you're also in this physical realm too. So I want you to be consistent with these practices. I want you to do these practices on like a routine basis, so that yes, you're grounded, but it's in a spiritual way, you know? So it's overall healing through creativity, healing through spirituality, healing through vulnerability, okay? Making sure that you're open about your emotions, you're open about your sensitivity. You're not shaming yourself for your sensitivity, shaming yourself for how you feel. Like, for here, it's also about boundaries. Oof, moon in Pisces, babe, you gotta have boundaries on 1,000, okay? And I say this, my moon in Pisces, I say this because you guys are very, very prone to, like I said, that collective, that sort of unconscious, and you grasp onto that and you lose yourself. So drugs, alcohol, weed, you know, don't use it as an escape, okay? Have boundaries with the substances that you're using, the people that are in your life. You understand that you are your own person, and you have your own emotions and sensitivities, and it can feel overwhelming when you're not like actively engaging with them, and not when you don't feel like you have a sense of control over them. So that's where it's like that meditation, your spiritual practices are going to come in. But your sensitivity is your superpower. It tells you so much, and it helps you connect with others. So I hope that resonates for my moon in Pisces. It's like, I love moon in Pisces. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful siren mystic placement. And don't forget those boundaries, okay? Especially with people in your life, especially with lovers. Part of your pain comes with not having boundaries. It's really because you can be very self-sacrificial, but extend that same empathy towards yourself, and things will really change. So I hope it resonated. Thank you guys so much. Let me know in the comments if it did, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.